My name's Norma Rangel. I'm from Ennis, Texas. I actually got pregnant with my daughter when I was 18 years old. My parents were very strict as I was growing up. My dad was mostly the strict one. It was always what he said, no matter what. My mother had no say-so in anything that my siblings and I did. My dad was very old-fashioned. He believed that if you left the house, you left the house married first, and then children came after. And in my situation, that didn't happen. Being pregnant as a teenager it's very difficult because you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know how you're going to react. You don't know how your parents are going to react. I didn't know at that moment that I had a choice. So I called the abortion clinic and made an appointment, and I convinced my friends to go with me to Dallas. When we got there and I stepped out of the car, there were sidewalk counselors that were outside, and they came towards me and basically asked me if I could, just go in with them to the Operation Rescue Clinic, which was the clinic that was next to the abortion clinic. So when I went to the Operation Rescue Clinic, that moment I did realize that I did have choices. I didn't know that there were people out there that actually cared for you and loved you and wanted the best for you, without you giving anything back to them. The only thing that you had to give back to them was just a life. And at that moment, that's when I realized, what am I doing? What am I doing? This is something that I want to do. I want to keep my daughter. So at that moment is when I did realize that I had choices. So that evening, they called Lori Westlake, who was the founding director of the Ellis County Crisis Pregnancy Center, and I moved in with them, and I was just a normal teenager that was pregnant. She drove me to school every day. She picked me up from school every day. I helped in anything that I could. But when I was living with the Westlakes, we went to the Waxahachie Bible Church, and I felt so at home with them. And at the church, it's like I actually felt like I belonged there. So Bruce and Lori, they were so helpful. They were so good at explaining anything that came from the Bible that I had questions about, and it was just something that just made me feel so good and so right at home. The Westlakes, they went to church every Sunday. We did Bible class every day at their house. I decided one night when we were sitting down at the kitchen table, I asked Lori if I could become a Christian, and she's like, yes, she's like, but I said, but I want to become a Christian tonight. So she's like, yes, we can do whatever, we can do it. So her husband Steve led us in through a prayer of salvation that night, and that night I just felt so relieved and so loved and so welcomed by, not just by them, but by God. I didn't feel ashamed, because for the longest I actually felt ashamed. I felt ashamed of not doing what my dad wanted me to do. It's like he wanted me to get married. He wanted me to have kids after I got married, and I just felt so ashamed of not being able to do that for him. So that night, it was a very beautiful night. Lori and my mom and my sister were actually there when I was giving birth to Yessie, and it was just the most wonderful experience. I mean, I started crying. How could I possibly think that I wanted to abort Yessie? It's like at that moment I felt ashamed, but at the same time I felt so, I can't even explain it. I just felt so loved and so happy that I chose life. The Waxahachie Bible Church and the Ellis County Crisis Pregnancy Center actually helped me move into an apartment, and I was able to move in with my daughter. And at that moment is when my husband and I went ahead and decided that we wanted to give it another try. So we decided to get married a year after Yessie was born. So we have been married for 23 years. Yes, he's going to be 24 on March the 4th of this year, and we've had 2 other children, 2 boys, Alec, who is 17, and then AJ, who is 14 years old. And all my 3 kids, they're the love of my life. I can't even imagine my life without them. And I actually just found out that I was actually the first client of the Ellis County Crisis Pregnancy Center, who is now First Look, by Donna. I wanted to help in any way that I can, because without them, without the church, and without First Look, and without God, I wouldn't be here. Yes, He would be here. So I'm so thankful.